If you'd have asked me to record this review of Maia when I first played it back in version 0.6, I would have given a very different opinion from the one I'm about to. You see, I'm not a big early accessor. In fact, I'm wondering if this might actually be the first early access game I've played. So, when I started Maia, I wasn't exactly sure how to present it. It had bugs that needed some polish, but was that just how early access is? Should this be a problem? Is this just a fairly standard thing that early access games have, and people who do early access just accept this sort of thing? Fast forward to me not getting around to it for long enough, and with 0.61, now playing a game which, while still not quite there, has vastly improved on the previous iteration. Out of the way, let's get into the game. Maia is a game I've had my eye on for a while. When I first saw it, around about 3 or 4 years ago, it ticked a lot of boxes. Chief among them was its clear inspiration from Dungeon Keeper. That being a top-down god game where you mine out a base, have a bunch of colonists who you have limited control over. However, unlike Dungeon Keeper, Maia was set in a hard sci-fi setting and not a light-hearted fantasy setting. But it was in early access around the time of the Kickstarter rush, so I figured I'd wait for a while and come back. Some time passed. And some more. Eventually, I noticed the game on sale on my Twitter feed. Full price was a bit much for me, especially for an early access title, but half price sounded great. So I streamed it for the first time on Twitch. I started, as you might expect, with the tutorial. I am presented with a small base, I am taught the basic controls, I dig out a space for my first room, I am then shown one of Maia's greatest little features. You see, when building items, the mouse changes depending on what you mouse over. You put your mouse over a wall, it'll give you heaters and vents and things like that. Mouse over the workshop and its construction equipment. If this game leaves its mark on games in the future, let it be this. Once I built my workshop, however, the cracks of 0.6 started to show. Colonists would freeze to death standing in a room with no door, sometimes even with one. Colonists would die of thirst in a base overflowing with water, or starve in the greenhouse. This game placed a big emphasis on its AI, and it was too stupid to eat. Now I know this sounds negative, but bear with me. The AI and bugs were problems for sure, but there's a reason I streamed this game for like 5 hours, not just 1 or 2. It's because the actual concept is fun. I like the mechanics of building. Dig out a room, build the room, populate with items. I like how detailed the game is. Put lights next to plants, they grow faster. Air's also modelled behind the scenes, so grow enough plants and your oxygen is sorted. Have a warm enough room and the corridor outside will keep warm if the doors are open. I like the fact that colonists submit reports which tell you what's going on, rather than just saying that they tell you they're hungry by grabbing their stomachs. You find out if it's too cold because you can see your colonist's breath. Lots of neat little things have been put together into a game that maybe you want to scratch away at it a bit more. Recommending it with all the problems was a tough sell. Then I played the 0.61 dev build. Now I don't know if I just got better at it or it fixed a lot of my issues, but this version felt a lot more like playing a game than fighting against it. Colonists now seem to take care of themselves for the most part, and I had significantly fewer bugs and overall much more enjoyable experience. With the control issues and bugs pushed mostly to the side, I could see a lot more of what Maia had to offer. The level of detail of this game tries to simulate may well be insane, like the previously mentioned air system. The fact that colonists' body waters and mass are modelled to be realistic, the way memories are generated rather than colonists knowing where food is, and the in-engine liquid physics for the lava seemingly simulated to a degree that honestly I wouldn't even notice. And I'm not sure if this is a good thing. It works well in the game and helps build the simulation, but I can't help but wonder if this is why this game has taken such a long time to develop. What this does show though, is that Maia is definitely a labour of love. The creator, Simon Roth, clearly had a vision of a very detailed simulation and seems to have gone to great lengths, possibly his detriment, to create it. While this may suck if you were a Kickstarter way back in the day, someone coming in with all this done, it's a lot easier to appreciate it. So, having said all that, there's only 2 more questions for me to answer. First, this is an early access game, so what's coming next? Well, as far as I know, the biggest thing, at least for me, will be a full campaign for the game. And this ties into the second question of, is it worth it? Well, this is going to be one of those cop-out answers I'm afraid of. It depends. At the moment, the game's slightly more polished and can provide a good few hours of fun, but it lacks the longevity and depth of other games in its genre. Intentionally or not, this is much more of a game, I find, suited to individual scenarios or campaigns. The majority of the game is its first few hours, as you have a mad dash to get your colony running before people freeze, starve, get caved in, run out of stuff, or go mad. Once things start to tick along, you get past that, it can be a bit samey. With that said though, I think I've got my money's worth so far from a couple of free plays and the scenarios, which in fact still have one to do. I did get the game on sale, and I think right now the sale price is a pretty good deal. Full price on Steam might be a bit much, but you can also pick it up on itch.io for a price that's actually closer to a Steam sale all the time, which makes it a bit of an easier sell. So in a roundabout way, my conclusion is, if you're not a big early accessor and you'd rather wait for it to be finished, but like the concept of the game, why not give it a follow or put it on your wishlist on Steam? Keep an eye on it. If colony building's for you and you want something a little bit different, well this is a pretty good pickup, especially on sale or on itch. And when the game releases with a campaign, I expect its value to go up even more, becoming a sort of 20-hour experience for a pretty good price. And as a side note, if you did get the game, Why not drop him a Steam review? Apparently it really helps him out. Still on the fence? Want to see the game in action? Well, lucky for you, with this video, so too should come episode 1 of my mini Let's Play, where I'll be taking on the sort of 4 inbuilt scenarios, not quite a campaign, but just a little bit of a taster to see what the game's going to be like. Hopefully, seeing it in action should be enough to give you more of an idea if it's for you. Also, you can build a flag, and it's a Union Jack, so 10 out of 10.